Imagine the scene. It's 2017. You're walking down towards the main stage of Creamfields Festival. I don't care if you've never been to Creamfields. I don't care if you'd never go to Creamfields. Not many people would, but alas, you're there anyway, and you're having a good time. The wind is flowing over your snapback. The wind is flowing up your very short shorts. I don't know what you're into, okay? The ketamine has just set in. You're walking along. Am I allowed to say ketamine? I don't know. You're walking along. You're on your own for some reason. No, actually, you're with a friend. A friend that you've known since 2009. There you are. You're walking towards the main stage. You're going to go see some kind of electronic dance music artist of unknown name. Times are exciting. But then you look to your right and you see a young 20-something-year-old girl. She's small. She's stocky. You think, well, if I just passed her on the street normally, I would have thought she was just fat, okay? But upon her shoulders is a large, and when I say large, I mean double her height, a very large indeed, male. He is stocky. He is double the volume of this young girl, yet he sits upon her shoulders as if nothing is a problem for her. You think, wow, maybe she's not just fat. Maybe she's skilled. Because that is a true story, my friends. That is a story that actually happened. I was the small girl. I still am the small girl. People look at me and they think, she's probably just a little bit fluffy. She's just a little small girl who's fluffy. Well, no, I'm actually solid build, according to the Body Tracks body scanner. Solid build, that's what they call me. But I was a standard muscular, I think. Wait, was I? Basically, I have a lot of muscle, but it's covered by a moderate amount of fat at the same time. The issue is you're a bit confused. You're like, is she just fat or is she muscly as well? I don't know. It's all very confusing. But that's been my whole life, friends. I'm telling you, my whole life. Because today I want to explain to you, give you a story and just uncover my story of when I was I don't want to call myself a professional athlete. That might be going a little bit too far. But I was a sponsored athlete. Whether you can say that's professional or not, technically I was paid for it. So when I was a sponsored athlete, you might be thinking, wonder what Dawn did. Well, we're going to get into it. We're going to explain the process and we're going to explain why I left, because I don't do it anymore. You might have been able to tell from my increasing fat percentage over time. You also might not have been able to tell because I gave it up before I started YouTube. So let's get into my story. Whether you care or not, it might just be a fun story, you know? Might just have a good time. To be honest, not many people know this about me, so I'm revealing some fucking facts right now. Some secrets. The people that know it about me are the people that are close to me. And the point is that it's not that I keep it a secret, but I am very unsuspecting. As in, you look at me and you think, that girl does not look athletic whatsoever. I've got it hidden. It's hidden beneath my fat. Look, okay, I'm 5'1". 155 centimetres for the metric view of you. I'm short. My dad has always said to me, you're big boned. Well, I'm sorry, but big boned isn't a thing. I'm genetically big muscle. That's what I am. In fact, I measured myself on the Body Track scanner the other day. You might think, what the fuck is a Body Track scanner? It's that thing where it sends that electric thing through you and you go, it doesn't hurt. So I don't know why I pretended like it did, but it sends some kind of current through you and it measures how much fat muscle you have, whatever. Despite still being a bit chubby, I'm just showing you my abdomen for those who are just listening. Despite being a bit chubby, I do actually hold quite a bit of muscle. It's surprising, I know. I hold 55 kilograms, which is a lot. I think it's almost, maybe 8 or 9 stone in only muscle. Now, obviously, that includes probably my heart and shit like that. But that's a lot. Well over half my body weight is muscle. I can't even believe it. So I get hot very easily. I'm walking around, my muscles heat up, and I'm just sitting here and I'm sweating, but there we go. I'm being rather animated, I suppose, and it's a hot room and I can't open the windows because then you'll hear the cars. So yeah, let's start from the beginning. Let's go. I've done a lot of sports throughout the years. I like to excel at everything I do. It's a problem. It's a blessing and a curse. Mainly a curse. Because guess what, Dawn? You're not going to excel at everything. You're not going to be a professional basketball player, are you? No, absolutely not. Because I did meet some basketball players once, and I was at a concerning height to them, being male, if you know what I mean. And it was very odd. But my dad used to do like ultra marathons. Don't ask me why. I don't understand it either. He did like, I don't know if you call them ultra marathons, but like 50-mile races, running. And he was into a lot of sports, blah, blah, blah. He did a lot of marathons. He did a lot of long distance running until he was like 75. Till recently. As a result, I also ran. I am not built for running. Not long distance running. You don't see me and Mo Farah looking like pals, do you? Right? Because he is probably about 3 kilos and I'm like 300. I'm not made for running, but I am made for fast. Am I? My dad always said I was very strong. I've got very wide feet. They are huge. Don't question it. It's just a fact. And I am low to the ground, so I'm just good at lifting things. Like they say Michael Phelps is basically born to swim, while I'm basically born to pick things up off the ground. Great. What a skill. I've written all the sports that I did down here. Competitively, I'd like to point out, I didn't just do them like casually. I competed in all of these. A concerning amount of competitions. I tried my hand at everything. And yet, now I talked about this in my Why I'm Fat and You're Not podcast episode. Go have a listen. I have done sports all my life, yet I've always been fat, and you will understand what I mean. Oh dear, microphone, I just pulled it down and it hit me in the face. You'll understand what I mean when I describe to you how many sports I did, because it was a lot. Okay, so I ran. I did run competitively, right? I did athletic, I did like sprinting, I did hurdles, I did relay races. Now, I'm not saying I did these at extremely high level, I was never on my way to the Olympics, but I did them in sport county level. So, I'm kind of a big deal. I did gymnastics. Yes, I competed in that. I was quite good at the vault and tumbling. I was shit at beam, and I was absolutely even worse at bars because I was so scared about getting my legs caught on the bars. And I was never good at it. My tummy, I always felt like it got in the way. But yeah, so I did rowing as well. I don't know what I was thinking, okay? I'm 5'1". I stopped growing when I was 11. I am the height of a child. Many children are in fact taller than me. Yet I decided to do some sports which, I don't know, but they require height. They require length. And I did not have the length. I had the girth. I'm girthy. I'm a girthy girl. I'm not a tall girl, sadly. Well, I'm not that sad about it. I can always push to the front at, things, because it's like, oh, you're over the top of me, so it's okay. Feel sorry for me because I'm a small little girl. Well, it would be good if I didn't front, wouldn't it? It would be good if I was just tall. But then I do get my pick of men, because I can go for anybody who's over 5'2", really, and that is most men. Probably 99% of men. Okay, Dawn, you're going off topic. Right. I did athletics. Now, I did athletics competitively. Yes, I was quite good at it, actually. I did pretty much all the athletics you can think of. 800 metres, 400 metres, 1600 metres, long jump. Didn't do high jump, for obvious reasons already explained multiple times. New hand. I did do a bit of javelin. I never competed in it. I did shot put. I did compete in that because there was no one else to do it, so I had to do it. I did hurdles, 100 metres. I tried pole vaulting once. Quite fun. Never competed. And I want to say that might be it. Oh, I never did triple jump. No. I did do long jump. Yeah, I've already said that one. I did relay. 100 metre sprint was my vibe. Very much so. And I did some tennis. I did hockey, still play a bit of hockey, but I did cross country, running, horse riding, all events, kickboxing. Actually, I don't think I ever competed in that. And then we get on to the finale. Oh, I did compete in swimming. I don't know how. I am the least water dynamic, streamlined human in the world, except maybe Mr. Strong, who's not a human, but is not very streamlined at all. Now, I got into gym. I don't know how. Not Jim, the person. Gym, G-Y-M. G-Y-M. There was a gym at one of my schools, and we basically were allowed to go in it for like PE and shit. So I think I started there. And then, as an attempt to never be in the house, because I didn't really like being at home, I basically joined a gym. From the age of maybe 14, 15, maybe 16. And then, and then I started to do gym classes. Oh, and also I was doing gymnastics at the same time. So I then joined the gym where my gymnastics club was. It's all coming together now. And I was doing classes. So, I was doing classes, and then I met this guy called Ben, I think his name was. I don't remember. Anyway, he had a wife. I think her name was Rachel. Hello, if you're watching, you're probably not. But he took me to the gym, and I worked out with him. I was fucking sick. It was like my calling. There I was, 16 years old, squatting 90 kilos. I shit you not, 90 at 16. I don't know how it happened. Squat is my vibe, and we'll get onto later how I managed, what my 1RM was, because it's rather outstanding, and it even made it into my Tinder bio. I say no more until later. So I worked out with Ben, and then I met a lot of personal trainers in the gym. Went on a date with one, did not vibe, and then I just worked out with them. I don't know. I just worked out with them. I did like bodybuilding for a bit, like not competitively, but just the bodybuilding kind of vibe. Then I went to uni, and I started at a bodybuilding, like a kind of grungy gym, like black walls, proper metal plates that rattle and dust, and men with their tops off posing under the spotlight being like and gym bros, and they sell like protein shakes in the corner, and there's like a little seating area where you all hang out and have a good time. Anyway, that was the kind of gym I went to, and I met this guy there. Don't know how, but I met him, and he was like, damn girl, you strong. He literally did not sound like that whatsoever. Damn girl, you strong. And he said, I do powerlifting. And I was like, oh cool, nice. He was like, you should do it too. And a bit like when Monica is told by Chandler, like, oh, you should be a chef, and then she's like, okay. That was me. I was like, okay. And I just did it. And I started doing that. And to be honest, I don't want to fucking blow my own trumpet here, but I was very good at it. The issue was I was very good at it, and there wasn't a lot of competition. So I won every competition that I did. That makes me sound stuck up, but that's not the way I want it to come across. Intention is important there. And so I won now the thing to know about powerlifting is that there's different like unions, and I think there's like 3. So you join one, and then you don't compete against everyone who's in the other unions. So it's like you're only competing against people that are in that union. That is kind of the issue. Whereas other sports, there's like one, thing that you all compete in, and the competition is much higher. Now, I wasn't going to go around all the unions and be like, well, I won in all the unions, because I just, nah. And so I won the regional ones. I won the national ones, like the British. I then went internationally, and I won the international competition. Now, I never tell anybody about this, because I don't think it's that impressive. There wasn't a lot of competition, like maybe 5 people in each weight class. So I didn't really feel like I did that well. Like, I did win, but like you could think, well, compared to the rest of the world who aren't actually here, I'm not, I did better than all of them who aren't actually competing. Yes, but it's not that fun when you just win. It sounds fun, but it kind of gets a bit boring. You're kind of like, well, I won, but that it wasn't actually hard. So I don't really feel like I earned it. Anyway, then I'm also still working out with this guy from the gym who's like, damn girl, you strong. That guy. We'll call him Timothy. It's not his name, but we'll call him that. Anyway, Timothy is like, oh, why don't you try some Olympic weightlifting? And I was like, oh, cool, new challenge. Also requires a lot of strength, but in addition, requires a lot of skill of which I didn't have. I was 21, maybe 20 at the time. I don't remember. I started it because I was strong. I was fairly good at it. Now, I started to learn the technique, and some of my issue was with my weight, because you have to be within a certain weight category, and I started in a weight category that was fine, and then, I don't know, I always had issues. Like, at one point I was 100 grams over at a competition. I won the competition, but I wasn't allowed to win because technically I was 100. Was I 100 or 400? It wasn't a lot. I was like 100 grams over my weight, and I was like, fuck! And it was so sad because I think that was like the junior British championships or something, and I didn't fucking win it because I was 100 grams over my weight, and I literally couldn't do anything about it. I tried moving around the scales. I tried taking more clothes off. I tried weeing. No, none of it worked. So, yeah. Also, to lose weight in those competitions, you know, you have to go on like a diet, or some people do lose weight through like, you know, trying to drop the weight close to the competition, which then makes you feel like shit and probably not very good for your body, i.e. your kidneys and other organs, and you just don't lift very well. So although I won that competition, well, I didn't win it, I can't say I won it. That one was harder, you know, because it was close. It was like, oh, am I going to win it? Am I not? It wasn't like, well, I'm lifting 20 kilos above everybody else and there's only 3 people in the class, so obviously I'm going to win it. It was like, ooh, this is tight, you know? I could win, I could not. Anyway, I went to the development squad at one point. I don't know how I got there, not sure. But the guy basically said to me, you know, you got good mobility, you're strong, you could do well, but you're too old. By that, I was 21. Can you believe it? Well, yes, you can. I was too old. I'd gotten into it too late, and I could have done really well had I gotten into it at like 10, 12, 14, because the people they had in the development squad were like 16, 15. I was 20. 4 years in a sporting career is a lot. So there I was, too old. I was like a fucking OAP. They were like, yeah, sorry, you can't come back. I was like, great, excellent, because, you know, they could have taught me lots of things. I travelled across, you know, the country to get like good coaching and stuff. I did have a coach, but he was in London and I was in Plymouth, so I went there a couple of times. He sent me programs and videos and stuff like that. And to be fair, I had a lot of coaching help. I don't know if that was because I was like good at it, or whether they were, I don't know. I don't know why people helped me. They just did. And often people helped me for free. Like, I didn't always, some people I did need to pay, but generally people just, coached me free. And yeah, so I then got a scholarship with the uni that I was in. Now, if you compete and win in national/international competitions, then I was eligible for a scholarship. Wait, did I say sponsored? Maybe it was scholarship. I don't know. Let's say they're the same. I don't know about the semantics, I'm afraid, but whatever. So yeah, I got a scholarship. I got like £1,000 a year, which was enough to cover like, you know, supplements and going to competitions, especially when they were abroad, and going to, you know, paying for hotels and stuff. And I was a student, so £1,000 was a lot to me. So yeah, that helped. I got £1,000 a year. I think it was for something like 3 years actually, because I started in second year. So yeah, I would have been like 20. When I was a sponsored scholar, I don't know. I'm going to say sponsored because I don't know. When I was a sponsored athlete, I guess I was sponsored by the uni, so that's kind of right. When I was sponsored by the uni, so for the money, I had to do like 2 volunteer sessions a year. And that would include like, I did like often 2 open days. They did a session where they came and took photos of me in the gym. It was like a proper fucking photo shoot. They had lighting, they had a professional photographer. That was pretty cool. And yeah, the gym that I was at were, they kind of, I don't want to say they sponsored me, but they kind of did. They like sort of gave me free clothes as long as I wore them at like events and stuff like that. They gave me free coaching. I honestly don't know why people did this. Like, I look back and I'm like, I wasn't paying them, so I don't know what they got from it. I don't know. Or like maybe people would have been like, oh, I'll go to the same gym as Dawn because blah blah blah, she goes there, whatever. So yeah, I did have a lot of help. I feel like people are less helpful nowadays. I don't know. But then maybe it's because I gave them something. I often think life is a little bit transactional, isn't it? Anyway, I also got a couple of free gym memberships. I got a free gym membership at the uni, which I rarely used. Oh, I got free sports massages. That was fucking great. One a week. Amazing, because I always had injuries. I always needed sports massages, and she basically healed me. It was great. Thank you, Sam. I'm pretty sure that was your name. So yeah, I got free sports massages. Amazing. That would have cost like 30 quid a week as well, so that was so worth it. I can't remember how this happened, but I got free like membership / ability to use the gym at another uni down the road. If you know Plymouth University, there's one called St. Marcus St. John's, basically Mahjong, and I was allowed to use that one too. Not the actual gym itself, but this guy had like a secret little gym in the back with like Olympic weightlifting weights and loads of stuff, and it was really great because Mahjong is right next to the hospital. I would go there before my before going to uni basically, and it was amazing. I had like 4 gyms. I don't know how this happened. I had access to 4 gyms at one time. I got all this free shit and I got money, so that was great. I don't underestimate the value of all of this. The issue is I started to get more and more injured. Injury as an athlete is hard, okay? Obviously. So, you're relying on your body. I had this one particular injury. I had a few injuries. Number 1, I had a shoulder injury. I tore one of my rotator cuffs. Sorry, there was a burp in the middle of that. Right again. I tore one of my rotator. It was out for ages. Now I couldn't put my hand over my head to Olympic weightlift. I can now, thankfully. Yay! So that was very difficult. I also basically snapped my knee. Now, what happened was I was doing like cleans where you lift the weight up to here and then catch it on your shoulders but in a squat. I hit the squat and I already had some knee pain. It was going on for a while, and then suddenly I felt this like it sound like that, but it was like a snap, sudden pain, and I was like, fuck. I managed to lift the weight up. It was like 80 kilos. I don't know. I was in a lot of pain, but I just did it. And I don't know why. Anyway, that was the end of the session. Couldn't do any more. That I was out from that for a long time. I could not bend my knee. I couldn't bend down. I couldn't squat. I ended up having an MRI on my knee after going to the physio, not working, not helping. And then I went to a orthopedic physio or something, like a specialist, and they requested me an MRI. Now, the MRI showed that I had a avulsion fracture of my patella, tibial plateau is like the main shin bone. Not my patella. Yeah. I had a avulsion fracture, which is basically where the bone is pulled off of itself and still attached to the tendon. I had a lot of patella tendonitis, which the tendon that was pulled the bone off, and that was a bad time. It healed on its own, didn't need surgery or anything, but it took a long time, took months. I was kind of done with all of these injuries, I've been doing it for 3 years. I had all these injuries that were like setting me back. I'd already come into it late, because people are like, oh, why did you leave? Why did you stop doing it? Look, when you've had some really severe injuries like that, and realistically, I wasn't high enough that people were gonna give me intense physio and intense rehab and stuff like that. It wasn't like I'm like, let's go back to Mo Farah. I'm Mo Farah and I'm gonna, this is my job. I was at university and this was like, I wanted to do well at sports, but it was never going to be my long-term career. There's not really much money in Olympic weightlifting anyway, and I'd already come into it late and been told that I was too old, basically. So, I started to get into CrossFit, which is basically like an amalgamation of weightlifting and cardio stuff, kind of. CrossFit, it's got a bad rep, but it's pretty good, because the problem was I was very good at 1 rep maxes, but I tried to walk up some stairs and I was huffing and puffing and I blew the house down at one point. I was I found it really hard to just walk up a flight of stairs. And I was like, I want to be fit. I don't just want to be like strong. I want to be able to walk and run around. So I started CrossFit, and I still was Olympic weightlifting, but the problem is you lose strength if you start doing cardio as well. So, you know, it was kind of at that point where I was like, I kept going until the end of 5th year because I was sponsored. So I was like, well, I guess I kind of have to. And then as soon as I left uni, I just didn't compete in weightlifting or powerlifting more. I was like, I'm done. I'm done with being injured. I don't want any more significant injuries. It's a lot to put your body through. You know, your body can cope at that age, but I was just like, you know, it's a lot of weight going through my body. By the way, my squat was 165 kilos. I don't know what that is in pounds. Let me work it out for you. 2.2 times 2. 363 pounds. It's fucking loads. It's like 2 adults, right? 2 male adults average. And it was a lot. And just think, that's all going through, you know, I had very strong bones, but I was just thinking about my back. You know, I didn't want back problems when I was older. I was already starting to get some niggles in my back. I had my knee problem. I had my shoulder problem, which had gotten better, but I was still like, back is quite significant. So I wanted to be fitter just for my own personal health. And yeah, that's when I did one competition. It was on the beat. Pretty cool. And yeah, that was fine for me. I was never going to be amazing at CrossFit because I just don't have I probably do have the body for it. The thing is, right, you might say, well, why don't you just compete in CrossFit then? You have to, the problem is, I like to be fucking amazing at everything I do, somewhat. I find it hard to do a sport and be like, you know, if I'm like 75% of the way to the top, I kind of want to get top. I don't just want to sit at the 75. I'm happy playing hockey, tennis, where I'm almost, you know, I'm basically at the bottom, and that's kind of fine for me. I'm like, I'm not striving to be the top of those sports because it's never going to happen. I don't have the skill or, you know, stuff like that for tennis and hockey. I play them for fun. Whereas when you're kind of pretty good at something, you kind of want to, you're like, well, why can't I just go the extra way? And to go that extra that 25% extra, you have to commit. Like, there's a big difference between being 75% of the way there and 100% of the way there. It's committing. It's the difference between, you know, having a full-time job and doing it on the side and being just naturally good at it obviously helps. And then it's like you know, stopping your full-time job, making this your life, coming like a professional at it, and literally you're exercising for like 8 hours a day. It's a big step to change, to like go to, and I was obviously just never going to be able to do that in CrossFit, especially because at the time that I started it, I was just starting to work as a doctor, and I don't do CrossFit anymore, not because I don't like it, but because the CrossFit gym membership is like £70 a month, maybe 50 if you're lucky. I already have a David Lloyd membership and it's got everything included. I don't then want to go to a CrossFit gym as well, because the thing with CrossFit gym is they kind of become your second home. You're either in CrossFit like at least 3 times a week or more, usually more, or you're not in it at all. It's like this weird, you know, you don't just go like once a week or once a month or whatever. You can, obviously, but it's like this thing where you kind of commit everything, you know, it's like your social hub and your exercise hub. And yeah, anyway, I wanted to have like a swimming pool and do tennis and be a bit more casual about exercising, because my whole young adolescent life had been all about competitively training and lifting and things. So I was like, I'm quite keen just to take it, you know, exercise for fun now, not for, you know, to get somewhere. So I'm pretty sure that's my journey, you know. I never, by the way, I'll put this out there now, I never took steroids or drugs or anything. That's the other thing, is to get that extra from 75 to 25%. There might be some performance enhancing drugs in there along the way. And I was not willing to take those. Now, I did take creatine, which technically is a performance enhancing drug, but it's not illegal. I took protein. I took like BCAAs, which branched chain amino acids, which are just like protein for your muscles to absorb during the workout. And I took, like just general supplements like multivitamin, cod liver oil, like omega-3 and stuff. And I also took pre-workouts. But that's it. As in, I didn't take like steroids or testosterone or growth hormone or anything like that. Or, I don't know if there's any more. Tren, I think that was another one that I heard floating about. And I do think, it looks to me as if people at the top of their game, whether they say they're doing PEDs or not, performance and drugs, whether they say they're doing them or not, I do question, can you ever get that far without them? Just saying. I don't know. I know people that did them. They weren't competing in the sports that I was competing in. I'm not even sure they were competing. They were just doing it for like looks and for ego, I suppose. But yeah, I wasn't into like doing drugs, not those kind of drugs anyway. You know what I mean? So yeah, I hope you've kind of enjoyed that story. It's a story that people don't really know about me. Thought I'd say. I don't know why, but I just fancied it, I thought it's an interesting story. I love stories. I love story time. Stories are just fucking sick, aren't they? So expect to hear a few more stories intertwined with beautiful knowledge enhancing information from my end. I also, guys, I want to apologize if you've listened to the end. Thanks very, very much. Love ya. I want to apologize for not uploading for the last week or so. It's been about a week and a half. Basically, I did a big fuckaroo, right? I've worked, I don't know, I didn't count it, but it's at least 80 hours in 1 week. It was insane. It was painful. Oh boy. I've spent the last 2 days recovering. I was going to upload on Monday. Didn't. Too dead. And I spent the last 2 days, it's now Wednesday, so this is going to go out tomorrow. But I spent the last 2 days just lying around, just existing. And I've been loving it. Usually I feel guilty for not doing anything. But I'm like, it's okay. No one's paying me to do the podcast. I do it for fun. I do it because I like it. I do it because I like talking to you guys. I do it because I want to help people. No one's paying me, so, no one's sponsoring me. So it's fine if I don't upload. But obviously I want to apologise for not uploading because some people might have been waiting for it. Being like, oh, where's Dawn been? I don't fucking know. Look, I just did not have the energy. I did not have the time. I spent as much time as I could sleeping. And when, I just mistakenly booked like 7 days in a row of work, and it was a big regret of mine, but alas, we live to tell the tale. So I do apologise. You might not care, but I don't want to like lose trust in you guys of being like, well, Dawn uploads Mondays and Thursdays, and that's what she said, and she broke her promise. Yes, I did. I'm really sorry. But I made a mistake, big mistake, and I didn't plan for it either. I will have a video coming out. I think I'm going to do a video about this. Basically, the first 2 days of that horrible week were I was on a film set. Well, fucking hell, can you believe it? But the issue with film sets is they are basically, you're up at 5:30 in the morning and you don't leave till 6. When the hell was I going to have time to podcast? You get home at 8 or 7 or 8 and then you're like, well, I'm exhausted and I've got to do it again tomorrow. So I was like, no, I'm in bed. Then I had a showcase the day after that and I was like, can't, exhausted, done. So I hope you'll forgive me. Thank you very much for listening. If you're listening on the podcast only, like on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give me a rating. Thank you so much for the people who have. I saw that people have and I was like fucking sending out my love vibes to you. Thank you very much. And if you haven't done it already, please do, because super, super helpful and boost my confidence anyway. So, people looking at it are like, wow, other people like it, so maybe I'll like it too. If you aren't listening on the podcast and you're looking on YouTube, hi, I'm waving at you. I didn't need to tell you that because you can see it, but for people listening, if you're watching on YouTube, then you can just listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you stream podcasts. Please tell your friends, tell your family, share it with people that you think might enjoy it. And leave a comment if you are on YouTube. Did you like it? Give it a like. Did you, do you want me to talk about anything else in particular in the near future? Let me know. Did you think, wow, Dawn, that was a good episode. Thank you so much. Then let me know. I'm trying to think what I'm going to do next. Give me a second. Not next as in right now. Oh boy, this is going to be some funny stories. Okay. Number one, I don't know what order these are going to be in. I haven't yet decided. Number one, I'm going to do my mishaps as a teenager. I had many of them. I was a little shitbag as a teenager. So we can all learn from my fun mistakes and have a good laugh at the same time. Oh, I want to do one on embarrassing female things. Now, that's very vague, but I have some ideas. I also want to do some stuff on some like body confidence, stretch marks in particular. I've been struggling with that all my life. I'm just one big stretch mark, really. And I'm like, how much more can my body take before I am one whole stretch mark in myself? I want to talk about some self-improvement stuff, some lying, some crazy shit that happened in Africa. South Africa. Africa's a bit vague, isn't it? Some fun stories about Magaluf. And working abroad. I basically drank every day for 3 months. So that was hard work. Oh, also, this sounds a bit dramatic, but I was kind of sexually assaulted by a taxi driver. I was going to do a story on that. It's okay. I'm fine. I recovered from it. But if you want to classify it into a term, it would be sexual assault. So I've just fucking dropped a bomb right there. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering what my lifts are, actually just say, Dawn, what are your lifts? What were your max lifts in the comments down below and I'll answer. Alright, thanks so much for listening, guys. I've got to go to improv because I'm a fucking acting bitch. I need to go and improve my comedy skills and my improvisation because who doesn't need to do that? I do. Okay, I'll see you Mondays and Thursdays. I'll see you on Monday. Bye. Love you.